I'm hitting the road for more grand days out around our beautiful country.
It's picture postcard perfect.
And as always, taking me every mile of the way, my hard-working little camper van.
Do you like my van?
Named after one of my favourite people, Helen Mirren.
Well done, Helen, you superstar.
She's the perfect travelling companion. For great adventures.
Well, hi.
All across the country. I'll be going all out.
Oh, wow.
To find breathtaking places.
Look at this. It is stunning.
Explore hidden treasures.
You're blowing my mind. You're blowing my mind.
And meet wonderful people.
Yeah!
It's a celebration of some amazing sights.
I'm loving this.
Both big.
Look at that. Spectacular.
And small.
Oh, that's amazing.
So come and join me.
Start it.
On my grand days out. This time I'm in Jane Austen country, Hampshire.
Thatched cottages, village greens. It's very beautiful.
The birthplace of everyone's favourite summer sport.
Go.
No, not that one.
Oh, you absolute.
Where it's a truth universally acknowledged.
This is extraordinary.
That it will be bodice-burstingly exciting.
It sent me quite a quiver, Chris.
Swooningly dramatic.
This cow dung is second to none.
Chef's kiss.
Beautiful jaunt.
You have awoken in me an obsession with Jane Austen.
A stunning mix of city, coast and country. Hampshire not only boasts an incredible landscape, but it's also home to one of the UK's most popular authors, Jane Austen.
Helen and I are quite excited. Hope you don't mind if I speak on your behalf, Helen. No, it's fine. Thanks, Helen. We are in Jane Austen country and we are very excited. I'm all of a flutter. Oh, Mr. Darcy, get out of that pond. You'll catch your death.
I'm starting my journey in Portsmouth, where one of Jane's most famous novels, Mansfield Park, was partly set. The Portsea Creek separates Portsmouth from the mainland, making it the UK's only island city and a thriving nautical hub.
Thought I'd start my day with some bracing sea air. Now, just behind me here is the Spinnaker Tower. It's very, 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 very big. And I'm afraid I didn't have my brave trousers on this morning, so I'm just going to stay down here. I'm just looking at it and planning my journey from here. It's still quite high up.
And the views are still exceptional.
Now, my route is going to be slightly zigzaggy, you know, devil may care, free as the wind, if you will. I love doing that. I don't know why. Sometimes I put on a helmet just so I can take it off and do that. I don't have a motorbike.
But I do have my Helen, and we're going to be clocking up quite the mileage, starting here in Portsmouth before heading north to Jane Austen's house in Chawton, snaking our way back and forth across the county via Hambledon and the New Forest, ending up at Highclere Castle. I say what?
We're going to have fun. Going all the way across the rolling countryside of Hampshire. Excuse me. But, handily enough, my first destination I can actually see is right there. Let's get going.
Portsmouth has a rich maritime history. It's the oldest active Navy base in the UK and home to almost 2/3 of the Royal Navy's surface ships. But there's a particular vessel I'm interested in today.
For a history buff like me, this is so exciting. Behind me is HMS Victory, which is one of the most famous ships in the world, I think, and the oldest Navy vessel still in commission. I cannot wait to get on board.
HMS Victory was Nelson's flagship in the famous Battle of Trafalgar. Launched in 1765, she's still here over 250 years on. A bit like my Helen, she just keeps going.
Hello, Andrew.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Victory is currently undergoing a £35 million renovation project to keep her history alive, something Andrew, head of historic ships, knows all about.
It is a total pleasure to meet you. HMS Victory, obviously, has such a pivotal part to play in an incredible moment in history. Nelson leads the charge to try and defeat Napoleon.
Absolutely. So we've got Admiral Nelson commanding the British fleet, and it's his job really to repel this threat of French and Spanish invasion.
Battles at sea were traditionally fought with boats lining up alongside each other and firing, sometimes until they ran out of ammunition. But Nelson, renowned for his aggressive tactics, had other ideas.
He's going to sail directly into them, creating a barroom brawl where everything boils down to how heavy the punches you can throw.
So Nelson decides, hang on a second, how about we just go at them?
Yeah, and that was really Nelson's hallmark. Just get at them and fight.
I like his style. It was a risky move, but it paid off. In spite of their superior numbers, the French and Spanish were defeated, shattering Napoleon's plans to invade England. And it was in his day cabin where all this was planned.
Quite something, isn't it?
It's rather nice.
Wow. It's a fascinating time in history for me. You've got Napoleon, you've got Nelson, who still live on to this day. I'll be really honest with you, Andrew. I've been told for a number of years I have a Napoleon complex. I mean, that's a phrase that lives on, isn't it?
So much of the country is defined, the UK is still defined by what was happening 200 years ago.
What was he like as a person?
A hugely charismatic but deeply flawed individual. If he was around today, he'd be one of those people on the tabloid, the front cover, for good or bad, day in, day out. He'll always write home his own accounts of battles to friends that he knows are incredibly indiscreet and are going to pass it to the press.
Oh, I love
So the
it.
newspapers will write up his spin.
I love that, because we've all got a friend that we know that if we tell them, everyone's going to find out about
Yeah,
it. Yeah. I met Gillian Anderson the other day. Did you? Excuse me, met Gillian Anderson. That's amazing.
Sadly, Nelson was killed during the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805, but even in death, his story was tabloid-worthy. Not wanting to be buried at sea, his body was pickled in brandy to be taken home. It's said that his loss was devastating to his adoring crew.
Obviously now we're below deck. How many crew would there have been on a ship of this size?
So for Victory at Trafalgar, there's 821 men on board. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Were they fed quite well?
To fight a battle, you need good, healthy, strong individuals.
An army marches on its stomach.
Absolutely. So Victory can carry up to 54 live bullocks on the upper deck. We're carrying meat on the hoof, and they are slaughtered as and when they are required.
Is that where that comes from? On the hoof?
Yeah.
These are the things I'll remember forever.
I get
so
that a lot.
They're carrying live cattle.
They
on
carry
the ship.
live cattle, lots of beer, small beer, and each man will get about a gallon
Is that where
of
that
beer
comes
per
from?
day.
Small beer?
Small beer is
Andrew,
beer.
you're blowing my mind. You're blowing my mind. It's just small beer.
Small beer was a lower alcohol version of the real thing, but the crew got a full gallon of it a day. And if that wasn't available, they were given a pint of wine or a half pint of rum. I mean, it's a wonder they could get out of bed in the morning, let alone win one of the most important battles of all time.
It's been absolutely fascinating. I always think history comes to life when you visit a place. This is a bit of living history, and it's so important for that reason.
But HMS Victory isn't Portsmouth's only claim to fame.
Local Jonas Hanway was the first person to introduce modern-day umbrellas to England.
It's thought the umbrella began as a parasol in the Far East. Jonas saw one on his travels in the 1740s, and this inspired him to start using one to protect himself against the UK's rainy climes.
He was mocked by passers-by as he wandered the streets of London, and taxi drivers even threw fruit at him. The invention soon caught on, however, when the Queen used one.
Coming up, I uncover a curious way to get your 5 a day
Oh my goodness.
and get invited to the ball, Jane Austen style.
Would you care to dance?
Yes, please.
I'm having a grand day out in Jane Austen country, Hampshire, in my trusty camper van, Helen.
Bulls for sale. No, thank you. I think that would frighten people if I opened the back of Helen and there was a bull in it.
Leaving behind the coast, I'm heading 45 minutes north to New Alresford, where I might not be picking up any livestock, but it's definitely prime agricultural territory.
Beautiful hedgerows. I love it when they leave it wild. It's good for the animals. I've got a little bit of wild grass in my garden that I've just kept completely wild. It's called my lawn. Just haven't mowed it. And I say it's a wildlife garden.
New Alresford is a contender for Watercress capital of the world. Each year, Tom, one of the largest producers in the UK, sells over 1.5 million kilograms in this country alone.
Lovely to meet you. Absolutely beautiful round here. Why is Hampshire so big for watercress?
The fundamental reason that they grew was the fact that the water that's supplied on these farms is unique to this area. It's spring water, it's
Right.
absolutely drinking standard water, but we use it to grow the watercress because it's got lots of minerals and vitamins. So that's the fundamental. But there is another reason, and it was the transportation.
New Alresford became the epicentre of the watercress industry in 1865, when the railway line to London was opened here. It was quickly dubbed the Watercress Line, as it allowed quick transportation of this highly perishable product. But the history of watercress in this area dates back much further than that.
So who introduced watercress to this area?
Brought it to the UK would have been the Romans. It's an Asian plant originally, and it worked its way across through Eurasia and ended up in the UK, and it's now become very British in many ways because it's something that we've eaten for generations.
What have the Romans ever done for us? Watercress is the answer.
It's not a bad answer.
And what a gift! Full of vitamins and minerals, it's known nowadays as one of our superfoods.
It's a very popular thing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So popular and plentiful in this area that they even have their own Watercress Festival. A day of fun, frolics, and most importantly, the watercress eating competition.
Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers, love.
Meet the Walsh family. Dad Glenn, triplets Ellen, Laura and Beth, brother Connor and mum Tracy. Glenn has won the competition for 15 years in a row, making him the undisputed world watercress eating champion.
How did you get into it, Glenn?
The rugby lads, thought for a bit of a laugh, see how much we can eat. To
Right.
start with, it was see how much you can eat in 3 minutes. And obviously, it wasn't very pretty. So then they decided to go to the 80-gram bags and see who can eat them the quickest.
So how much did you eat and how quickly did you eat it?
My quickest time is 80 grams of watercress, and it was 25.5 seconds.
But now there's new blood coming up in the ranks, namely daughter Ellen, who came second last year.
How do you approach it? Is it a two-handed affair? Is it a one-handed affair?
Shove it in.
Screw it up.
Sounds easy enough, but this competition is not for the weak of stomach.
It's stocky though,
It's
isn't
very
it? It's stock.
stalky.
And peppery.
But this fiery superfood has never put the Walshes off. Today, Dad's prize trophy is up for grabs in a family rematch.
You look like someone
Bit of pressure
who is
now.
absolutely determined.
Yeah.
The rules of the competition are simple. It's the first person to finish an 80-gram pack of watercress.
Players ready?
Yes.
3,
Yes.
2, 1, go! Oh my goodness, look at Glenn go. Look at Glenn go. Look at this. You're doing brilliant at that end. You're doing brilliant. You're doing brilliant. You're doing brilliant. There's more than that back, Glenn. There's more than that back, Glenn. And we've stopped the clock. 35 seconds. Magnificent.
Thank you.
Close behind. For now, though, the trophy is secure. You are still the champion, and I believe you will always be the champion, Glenn. Round of applause for Glenn, everybody. Well done, Glenn.
Thank you very much.
Superstar.
And that's the fastest I've ever seen anyone get their 5 a day.
It's just that perfect time of year when the flowers are in bloom, the leaves are on the trees, nature is at its finest. It's just gorgeous. And everyone seems a little bit happier. That's what I always like about this time of year.
And I myself couldn't possibly be happier with my next stop as I'm heading to the picturesque village of Chawton and the very heart of Jane Austen country. Hi Lizzie, how are you?
Hello, very well, welcome. This is Jane Austen's final home. It's not just her home, it is the cradle and birthplace of all of the novels.
Lizzie is the director here and a font of knowledge on all things Austen.
So this
Yep.
is the epicentre of those famous novels.
This is the epicenter, it's where they all come from. Every single one of those novels reached their final form or was completely written from within this house.
Incredible.
Jane Austen was gifted this house by her brother and lived in it with her family. It was in the dining room where some of the most important novels in the English language were written, such as Sense and Sensibility and Emma.
It is incredibly important, this space.
Tell me about her as a person.
She remains a bit of a mystery. We have her voice in the novels, but there's no diaries. So the true person that she was is difficult to see. Her family loved her. People who weren't in the family weren't so sure.
Did she ever marry?
She didn't marry. We know of certainly one offer of marriage, and she was actually staying in his house, and she accepted one night. And in the morning, she thought better of it.
Love
and
it.
She refused
Well done,
him.
Jane. I
And
said yes. Now I'm saying no.
Nah, she basically ran away.
It is, after all, a woman's prerogative to change her mind. In turning down this marriage, Jane gave up security and her suitor's estates in return for something much more important, her own independence.
When women married, they ceased to exist as their own independent legal entity. And Austen was deeply ambitious. One of the earliest letter that is still existence, the second one we know the content of, she says, "I write only for fame."
I love her. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm doing this because I want
Yeah.
to be famous.
But there is an interesting complication with that, which we can see in the next room,
Yes.
which is that her name doesn't appear on the cover of the novels.
Oh my goodness.
Talk about a cliffhanger, Lizzie. Jane's novels were quickly popular, but it wasn't until long after her death that her name finally appeared in print.
What I've got here is a first edition of Pride and Prejudice.
Just a first edition of Pride and Prejudice.
And you've got in the front cover, you can see, if I hold this very carefully, they didn't have her name on the page.
Pride and Prejudice was published as by the author of Sense and Sensibility, and Sense and Sensibility simply by a lady.
She's incredibly ambitious. She's not married because she wants to keep control of her career, and yet her name is not in any of these books.
Yep.
She's fascinating.
Isn't she?
Isn't she fascinating?
Isn't she complicated?
And it was in this room that Jane received her first copy of Pride and Prejudice, which she called her darling child.
Austen and her mother read aloud from her own copy of Pride and Prejudice. So that means that this room and this space is the very first place in the world where that dialogue was performed by the author herself.
Incredible. This is freaking me out that I have parallels in common with Jane Austen, because when I got the first copy of my book and stood in my house, I felt that feeling. I'm finding this quite emotional, Lizzie, I'll be
good.
really honest. You have awoken in me, Lizzie, now an obsession with Jane Austen.
That's our job.
Fundamentally, Jane Austen is complicated, is what I've discovered.
Complicated genius.
And in typical Jane Austen style, it seems only fitting to go for a walk to gather my thoughts.
I had this idea of Jane Austen from her books, and I was completely wrong. And I'm actually invigorated by my lack of knowledge about a complicated woman. What a day.
You would think it couldn't get any better. I mean, it wouldn't be Jane Austen without a good old Regency dance.
Wonderful, well done. Hello.
Hello.
My goodness, you look magnificent.
Thank you very much.
What's your name?
Chris.
So you're the chairman of this group.
Hampshire Regency dancers, yes.
Was that a particular type of dance that we saw there?
What you saw there was called a cotillion.
A cotillion,
And
yes.
Jane Austen really liked cotillions.
Did she?
But the interesting thing about Regency dance, of course,
Yes.
is that that was where you went to find a husband.
Right. So whilst they were doing the very proper dancing, they were having a wee look around.
Too right, and
Yes.
their mothers were as well, of course. But they took chaperones with them, and
Yeah.
they were pre-approved.
I always used to take my mother to the dancing so she could have a good look at what I was dancing with. I like the pomp and circumstance of Regency dancing.
Yeah.
Is that why you enjoy it?
That's the whole reason for the existence of our club. We absolutely love it.
Do you like this?
Oh, come on. Of course I do. And I tell you what, a red coat still works even today.
Well, it sent me quite a quiver, Chris. So how would a lady take a gentleman's arm?
I would come this side.
Oh, you would come this side? Do I put my hand on top?
Indeed. Would you care to dance?
Yes, please. And off we go.
A bit different to my Strictly days. Right, this one's for Jane Austen. I think she would have been proud, and so would my mum.
Well done, everyone.
Coming up, I'm out for a duck
Did you see that? Right, aimed right there.
and take a walk on the wild side.
One just on the
Oh my
bush here. Yeah, just on the...
I'm having a simply grand day out deep in a part of the world often referred to as Jane Austen country.
Hampshire, it's very beautiful. And I love having a nosy at the little thatched cottages, village greens. It's the kind of place I have a fantasy that one day I'll live, you know. I'll be part of the Women's Institute, make jam, be a fete organiser.
Helen and I do love a Victoria sponge, but before we don our aprons, I'm going back in time to Butser ancient farm, where houses and villages were a little bit more basic. This site is a world-renowned hub for archaeological research, where the likes of Therese are carrying out pioneering experiments to understand how the people of ancient Britain lived.
Hello. Lovely to meet you. This place is incredible. I've heard it's like an open-air laboratory for archaeology.
Exactly. Archaeology is a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. So this is a place where we explore lots of things like buildings, like the production of metals, stone tool technology.
Using ancient techniques and tools and materials from those eras, houses have been built on this site from the Iron Age, the Bronze Age, and where I'm stood now, the Stone Age.
Tell me about this massive stone.
Last year we celebrated our 50th anniversary and we thought it would be really nice to mark it with something significant. So
Yes.
we decided to go big or go home. So we decided to go broadly the same as the blue stones at Stonehenge. So they're the kind of smaller inner stones. And what we wanted to do was really explore how easy was it to move and using very simple Stone Age technology.
And the answer to that question was not easy at all. Using just a wooden carriage and some ropes, even with the help of 35 Royal Navy sailors, it took 3 hours to erect.
I thought it would teach us about the technology, but I think it taught us more about the people and the coming together and the community.
Moving forward in time, the largest building on site is Little Woodbury, a reconstruction from the Iron Age.
This is an impressive place.
It is, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's huge, isn't it? And it was really fundamental for our understanding about life in the Iron Age because people thought that everyone was scrabbling around in the dirt, basically.
Right.
And the excavations show that people were creating really elaborate structures like this one. So it was, again, a game changer.
Little Woodbury was built in 2007 and took 9 months to construct, but it's still an ongoing project.
One of the issues that we've had recently is that rodent action, because rodents like our walls.
That's the name of my band, Rodent Action. Excellent.
They have started to work their way through our walls and the walls have started to fail.
And how would one repair an Iron Age wall?
So the walls are composed of wattle and daub. We're taking it out in sections.
So the wattle is the wood
Yes.
that goes across the way, and then what's the daub?
The daub is very exciting material, so it can be made of anything.
I'm not sure it is. I've just seen you do that. What is the daub?
We like to use a daub mixture that's got some animal dung because that works really well.
Of course you do.
We've got a beautiful mixture of daub ready to go.
You say that like you're a sommelier announcing the best wine. You will love, chef's kiss, the daub we have for you today, Susan.
This cow dung is second to none.
Well, what can I say?
Right.
Bottoms up.
So this is your canvas. Think of it as your canvas.
Yes, I feel just like Van Gogh right now.
What we want to do
Okay.
is get a nice ball of it and just give
Oh,
it...
the noise! It's the noise!
Yours is a bit drier than mine, but that's fine.
It's like we're at the doctor. Yours is a bit drier than mine, but that's all right. Okay.
So you just want to slap it on like that, and then just push it in with your hands.
Oh, this has gone right through. My
It
ball's
does.
not big enough.
It's quite therapeutic, don't you think?
Absolutely. This is like mindfulness. I'm got an itchy nose. This is the worst possible scenario. I've got an itchy nose.
I would offer that.
Don't worry, Therese. I know how to cure an itchy nose. Hands free.
Batter it on, Calman. Look at that. That's better. But thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
You're welcome to come back and daub anytime. We're always daubing at Butser.
They're mad for daubing here. All they're doing is daubing.
Now we just need to figure out how to get out of these gloves. Just a few miles west and just outside the village of Hambledon, I'm on the search for my next treat.
Sport in the summer, I'm afraid, is all about one thing for me, and that is tennis. Growing up, Wimbledon was the highlight of the summer, and I remember sometimes, if it was a really hot day, my parents would pass a portable television out the living room window, and we'd sit in the garden and watch the tennis in the garden. And that, to me, is an abiding memory of summertime.
Although around this part of Hampshire, many may beg to differ. In fact, they'd go as far as to say,
I don't like cricket. Oh no. I love it.
what he said. Mike is chairman of Broadhalfpenny Down Cricket Club, one of the first cricket grounds in the world, and where the game as we know it today evolved.
Mike, what a pleasure to meet you at this gorgeous cricket ground. So the laws of cricket were first kind of established here?
Indeed, that's why we call it the cradle of cricket.
Cradle of cricket.
Yes. It used to be a game with 2 stumps, and the best bowlers were able to roll it through the middle. That's not fair, particularly if you got a wager on it.
Yep.
Time to introduce the 3rd stump.
So the 3rd stump.
Yes.
Right?
A chap called Shock White came along, and he'd developed a bat which was the width of the stumps, so covering all 3 stumps.
Oh, I love it. Do you mind if I bring my own bat? It's this massive thing.
That wasn't cricket. They established that the width of the bat is 4 1/4 inches, and it's been 4 1/4
So
inches.
standardised, so you can't
Standardised.
pitch up with your own
Correct.
giant
Yes.
bat.
Yeah.
The third law to be introduced was bouncing the ball rather than just rolling it, which increased the speed of the game, making it a much better spectator sport. The 3 laws were, of course, hashed out right here in the nearby pub, the aptly named Bat and Ball.
Now, I noticed behind me There's some cricket going on. Oh, did you just see that shot?
Susan, I think it's time you went and had a go.
Ah, do you think they'd help me?
Of course they will.
The Hambledon's under-14 mixed team are having a practice today, and Otti has offered to give me a few pointers.
How old are you?
I'm 13.
13, and we're the same height. Gosh, that's horrific. Now, Otti, can I take this bat?
Yep.
I want to show you what I think I need to do. So you're like the elbows up a wee bit, and then you step in, correct?
Yep.
Is that
And
right?
the only thing you want to make sure you're doing is keeping the bat super straight.
Show me how you would do it.
Like that. And keep it into your body.
Keep it into my body.
Yeah.
Although I think I'll mostly be using it to protect my body.
Please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. Oh, no! That's where I need one of these big bats Mike was telling me about. Oh, you absolute... Come on, I will not be defeated.
Or maybe I will.
I mean, it's hard not to take this personally. Did you see that? It's like aimed right there. There we go. There we go. Pretty excited about it. Oof, that was a cracker.
Or as they say in cricket, how's that? No, really, Otti, how is that? I work off compliments.
You're a complete natural.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even care if you're lying. It's just been such a lot of fun. I'll give this back to you now, though, so
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you on the television in a few years' time in the England team.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Playing in the Ashes.
Playing in the Ashes.
I've little doubt in my mind. I myself, though, might stick to being a spectator.
Thank you very much indeed, Ossie. You're a superstar. I'll see you later on.
Bye.
Leaving behind my career as a cricketer, an hour west lies the beautiful New Forest. Covering an area of 219 square miles, it's a beautiful mix of pasture, forest, and the largest area of lowland heathland in the UK.
It is absolutely stunning, the New Forest. I've been here before, but I never feel like I've seen enough of it, you know? And when I think about wildlife here and nature, the first thing that comes to mind are the beautiful New Forest ponies, of course. But that's not why I'm here this time. I'm here to see something slightly unexpected.
Hidden deep in the heart of this stunning landscape is the New Forest Reptile Centre. It's a passion project for Ranger Richard.
Richard, lovely to meet you in such a gorgeous place. Why is this centre here?
New Forest actually is one of the best places in the country for all of our native reptiles. It's very rare to get a bit of heathland, a bit of woodland, bogs, grassland all together in one place, and the New Forest is exceptional for that.
In fact, this is one of the only places in the country where you can find all 6 of the UK's native reptiles living in the wild. And yes, I do know all of their names. There's the common lizard, the sand lizard, the slowworm, the smooth snake, the grass snake, and finally, the UK's only poisonous snake, the adder.
I'm a huge fan of reptiles. They have a slightly unfair reputation, don't they? Sometimes people are quite frightened of them. They're perfectly lovely creatures, aren't they?
Yeah, and quite harmless. Even the infamous adder probably won't move any more than half a metre or so, because that's about the strike distance. More than likely, they'll sort of turn around and disappear off into the undergrowth. So, no, it's not snakes on a plane or anything like that.
So basically, you should be as afraid of an adder in a way as you are of me, because I move only half a metre as well. That's as far as I'll go.
And you'll be pleased to know, if I do bite, it's not poisonous. The main goal of the centre is conservation and breeding. But even in these pods, they can often be hard to spot. The rarest species is the sand lizard.
If you look just in the middle of
I
that
can
grassy
see
patch,
it!
there's 2.
And today I'm in luck, as keen-eyed Richard has spotted a pair.
There's a male and a female. The male on the left has a green, you see it's like a kind of emerald green
Yes.
flank.
Yes.
And then the female is more of a brown all over.
So well
She's got bigger
camouflaged.
The pods are there to create a safe natural habitat for the reptiles to breed, the goal being to release their offspring into the wild.
Is it like turtles? Do they dig their eggs in? Is that what they
Yeah,
do?
it is exactly like that. They'll lay their eggs, cover it over, and then that's it. They'll abandon them.
That's
Then the eggs are on their own then.
I know it's what they do, Richard, but I just feel so sorry for those little
Yeah.
baby lizards
No,
as they come
no
out?
maternal care.
No maternal care at all?
afterwards,
Nothing
no,
at all?
No.
This is why, you know when everyone says, have you seen the latest David Attenborough? Have you seen the latest? I can't. I can't. Because there's always one slightly chubby penguin or one limping something that's on its own, and I cannot watch
behind.
it. I can't think about it, Richard.
And that's why I'm more of a cat person. Although there is one specific reptile I've always wanted to see.
There's one just on the bush here. Yeah, just on the top. That's a good position.
Look
Always
at
so
it.
easy to spot.
So this is the UK's only venomous snake.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
I'm 48 and I've never seen one before, which tells you how rare it is to actually encounter one.
And the way to tell the adder apart from the other snakes is that zigzag along the back. So if
So
you
the
see the
zigzag.
zigzag, that's an adder. You can say you've seen an adder.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
It's been a real privilege to see these beautiful creatures up close in a place I didn't even realise they existed.
And it just shows you, I think, you can come back to the same places you've been before, but if you just look at it a slightly different way, you get a whole new view on the world.
Coming up, I get a warm welcome at the real Downton Abbey.
No, we're closed today, sorry.
And uncover something exciting in the cellars.
This is extraordinary.
I'm enjoying a grand day out in the great outdoors of Jane Austen country, where Helen and I need to be on our best behaviour for our next stop.
I've been to quite a few castles. They're all very different though, you know. You've got an idea of what a castle is, you know, with a moat and a drawbridge and everything. They're not all like that.
Helen and I are heading north and going up in the world all the way to Highclere Castle, although you may know it as something different. Downton Abbey gripped the nation with its dramatic story arcs and wonderful performances. In particular, Maggie Smith and her brilliant one-liners. But the real Highclere Castle has its very own interesting story from the ancient world hiding deep in its cellars. Perhaps the current lady of the house will share it with me. I hope I'm dressed smartly enough.
Hefty door.
No, we're closed today, sorry.
Maybe I shouldn't have worn the shorts.
It's all right, you can come in after all.
Is that
I'm
okay?
taking it.
Thanks very much indeed.
Much like the fictional Lord Grantham, Lady Carnarvon's great-grandfather-in-law, the 5th Earl of Carnarvon, also married rich, bailing himself and the estate out of financial ruin. But that's where the similarity ends. The real story of this place involves one of the greatest historical discoveries of all time.
This is extraordinary.
Lord Carnarvon, a lover of all things Egyptian, funded archaeologist Howard Carter's excavations of the Valley of the Kings, resulting in the 1922 discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb, an homage of which has been recreated in the cellars of this great castle. Lady Carnarvon has also written a book about her famous ancestor and that time of discovery.
I have been obsessed with Egypt and Egyptology my entire life. It's a wonderful thing to come here. It's actually quite emotional. It really is. So these are obviously replicas
Yes.
in here.
Lord Carnarvon thought everything from the tomb of Tutankhamun should go to Cairo. Nothing from the tomb of Tutankhamun was destined to come back here.
This room showcases replicas of the shrine, the sarcophagus, the mummy of Tutankhamun, and of course, the death mask.
Lord Carnarvon, he was there when Howard Carter broke through into the tomb.
Without Lord Carnarvon, we probably wouldn't have discovered Tutankhamun. He was organising the excavation at the time, and they were all wondering whether they'd find anything. But Lord Carnarvon knew that the tomb of Tutankhamun had never been found, and he had the money and resources to take the gamble to follow that pattern.
And it was a gamble that paid off. Lord Carnarvon funded Carter's expeditions for years with some success, but they were costly. And the final excavation of Tutankhamun's tomb very nearly didn't happen.
The story that I've heard is that Carter basically came to Lord Carnarvon and said, please give me another year, keep going, keep going.
He knew money was running out. So they decided to have one last go. But that's what he loved. That was his passion. That was his life. And he gave his life for what he found.
The tomb of Tutankhamun contained a wealth of treasures and artefacts. It became a global phenomenon that sadly Lord Carnarvon never got to fully appreciate, as he died the following year from a mosquito bite. It sparked rumours of a curse associated with the tomb.
He realised very early on that this was way beyond whatever he thought he might ever find. And he had not sought the status of celebrity.
He didn't seek celebrity. He was just passionate about
Egyptology. Excavation.
I think mystery is one of the greatest things in life. Answers.
But that's why I write books and you do programmes.
Yes.
The items discovered in the tomb provided invaluable insights into the life, art and beliefs of ancient Egypt, like this incredible throne and chest.
It shows you about the life of Tutankhamun, everything he wanted for the next world, that would make the next world, the world of eternity, a good place for him to live.
You must get people coming from all over the world for Downton Abbey and for this.
I think it's a surprise. It's usually a very welcome surprise, but many people just are passionate about ancient Egypt.
For me, it's a story of discovery, of persistence, of passion. That's what part of this is for me.
And short of visiting the Valley of the Kings myself, it's been a dream come true and a fitting end to the most wonderful trip.
I have had the most incredible time in Jane Austen country. Not only is it beautiful, but there's a wonderful sense of mystery about the place. Just think about the stories that I've been told while I've been here. And oddly, I have more questions now than I did when I arrived. But isn't that brilliant? To leave somewhere wanting to come back and find out more.
Next time, I'm pootling in and around the Lincolnshire Fens.
It's picture postcard perfect.
At a gentle pace.
There's a cat!
And at full throttle. Discovering the surprises.
I was not expecting that!
Of this wonderful countryside paradise.